Hey guys, and welcome back to Glory Hunter. I hope to find you well today. We are returning with our Chelsea side, of course, where today we have the chance to firstly lift the Premier League trophy, which we failed to do at the end of the previous episode, and also for the first time make it to a Champions League final. So before we get to that first leg of the Champions League semi-final against AC Milan, we have the chance to win the Premier League as Jonathan Burkhart is through on goal here and gives Wolves the lead. What an awful start. Thought I'd won the ball with Koulibaly. Didn't get the foot in and Wolves lead. And we know that a win here will see us lift the title, but we fall behind inside 2 minutes. This time away from Koulibaly. It's a brilliant ball through. And had it not been for Aaron Ramsdale, we would find ourselves 2 goals down in this chance that we have to win the Premier League. And another chance for Wolves, and this time we are 2-0 down. A shocking start here at the Bridge. And Wolves, who have nothing to play for, are ruining the Premier League title party. Tony and Rashford linking up here. Round the corner to Reece James. Can we get back into the affair? Reece James does pull one back. Manic start here at the Bridge. And despite being 2 goals down, the captain does find a way back into it. James now forward to Jovanovic. The ball into space for Brozovic, who has Chilwell in acres down the left. I see Rashford pulling out towards the edge of the box, but Chilwell will go alone and level it up. And it's the fullbacks that have got us back into this one. From 2 down, we now find ourselves level heading into the break at 2-2. Well, second half starts and we have got ourselves back on level terms, giving ourselves a glimmer of hope in this second half. But we're going to need to defend a lot better against Milan in midweek if we're to make it through. Ivan Toney waiting for the runner, Reece James. The captain's in. Chance. Reece James slams home. I thought he'd scuffed it wide, that's why I went silent. But Reece James slams it into that far corner. And now Chelsea on the brink. And well, we mentioned how Wolves have nothing to play for, and that's kind of on show here as we're looking most likely. I see Brozovic at the back stick, who manages to nod home. It's a brilliant header by the veteran Croatian, and that will do it for Chelsea. The Premier League trophy will be lifted today at Stamford Bridge. Well, as we tick over into the 93rd minute of the game, that will surely do it for Chelsea. There is the full-time whistle. And the Premier League trophy is secured. We had to work for it, going 2 goals behind early doors. But Reece James started it off, and Marcelo Brozovic, the seasoned veteran, finished it off with the 4th. The Premier League secured for Chelsea in our first season at the club. There is the fabled Premier League trophy, and it will be Reece James to lift it for Chelsea, your champions of England. That is an amazing little scene there. Reece James lifting the Premier League trophy in front of the Chelsea faithful. I'd love to see that at some point in his career. I think it would be just written in the stars for him to be captain and hopefully one day lift the trophy. But they did actually win the Premier League in Season 2 and also more recently in Season 4 of the Save. So it is a trophy that they have won a couple of times, but as I mentioned in the very first episode of this season, we were brought in to win the Champions League, and that is where our focus will head for this first leg of the semi-final against AC Milan. Here we are then, guys, Champions League semi-final time. This will be the third time that we have met Milan in this season's competition, having faced them in the groups. And I'm sure you will remember the 6-0 humiliation that we faced in Milan at the San Siro. We're at home today, as we were in the quarterfinals against another Italian side, Roma. Can we put ourselves in the same position as we did in the quarterfinals before heading to Italy? So here is how we line up, guys. We're in the 5-3-2 as expected, and we are at full strength. As for our visitors, Milan, they have become quite familiar opponents for us, and the two main men that we have to worry about today, surprisingly not Rafael or Dembele, Joe Willock and Farias, who both scored hat-tricks at the San Siro. This is such a massive game. We need to give ourselves something to hold on to in Milan. Let's get out there and do it. First chance for Joe Willock to come forward, and Ben Godfrey does really well just to starve him of the ball, win it back quickly. And now we look to come forward quickly. It's Enzo Fernandez into a little pocket, has Havertz in support. Kai Havertz should have given us the lead. Enzo's delivery once again, this time onto the head of Godfrey, and Maignan with another terrific save. Oh, risky from Maignan there. Acuna comes away with it, and it's a good ball into Willock. And now it's through to Farias. First chance for Milan, and they take the lead. We've been the dominant side in this opening 23 minutes, but one chance for Farias, and this man just loves scoring against us. And Farias finishes past Ramsdale. Now Pedri, back to Osimhen, and Enzo was the option, but it's just not quite been there for us in this first half. That was a big chance to get Enzo through, and we spurned it. And now here's Willock coming the other way. So dangerous in attack, Milan. Farias, brilliant football, and it's a brilliant second for Milan. They've had two chances, and they've taken them both. I'm just trying to stand them up, and this little layoff from Farias to Dembele, and he whips it into that far corner brilliantly. Two chances for Milan, and they've taken them both. That's a cracking finish from Dembele. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to keep it the same for now. It was working for us in that first 45. We just need to start taking our chances as Havertz slips through Pedri. The Spaniard hits the post, and this is exactly what I mean. We've got to be taking these chances into Havertz. Haven't created anything for Victor Osimhen today, the one man that we would want chances to fall to. Here comes Reece James though, down the right hand side, pegs it back to Osimhen, and he does score. There is his chance, and there is his goal. Back in the game at 2-1, and is most certainly game on at the bridge now. Fans behind us, just needed it to fall to the right man. Back infield to Pedri now, Havertz, James, back to Kai Havertz. Oh, what a sitter. Oh, head in hands. And no one's been able to hit the target tonight. Osimhen, Havertz, loads of space for Chilwell. And it's Ben Chilwell in for Chelsea, and Maignan again with the save. Declan Rice striding into that space, and James has loads of space down on the right hand side. And Carney at the back stick, and a flying save by Mike again, keeping his side in this. And Levi does well as James clears. That will do it. It's defeat at the bridge, which is really not what we wanted, but positive signs. We were by far the better team in that one. If we play like that in Milan, we can turn this around. I really cannot believe that we've lost that game. I don't normally show the stats after games, but look at that domination from Chelsea. So unlucky not to get the win. We've got Arsenal in midweek with absolutely no pressure before heading over to Milan to face them in the second leg at the San Siro. Massive game. So let's get through this Arsenal one nice and quick, as these first two games have been action-packed. Alright then guys, we're at the Emirates to take on Arsenal. Really poor season for them, currently sat down in 15th place. They look like they will most likely be safe, and if they get anything out of today's game here, then it's pretty much secured. So a bit of a nothing game with the title already being wrapped up, but Marcus Rashford gives us an early lead and making a claim to start in Milan after Havertz was poor in that first leg. We've got some decisions to be made. Carney looks to come forward again. Finds Ivan Toney. Oh, it's off the crossbar. It's a brilliant strike from Ivan, who's unlucky as he's denied by the woodwork. Constant pressure from the Blues though, as Maric getting a rare start today. Maric makes it too. The young Croatian, not had a lot of football this season, but on the score sheet, it's down the line to Lino, and Godfrey does really well. One of our few starters out there today. Really good defending from him. And he's carried on his run here, Ben Godfrey. He's going to get there as well. Ben Godfrey from right centre-back. Oh, what a finish as well. Ben Godfrey, the former Toffee and Canary, with a fantastic goal to round off a brilliant move by Chelsea. And there's the full-time whistle, guys. A really boring second half. Absolutely nothing happened. But a really good win. And if Norwich have won, could push Arsenal close to the danger zone, which would be hilarious. Here we are then, guys, the teams as we look to kick off at the San Siro. Milan as strong as ever. In fact, I think it may be the same lineup that started at the bridge. As for us, there is one change in attack. Marcus Rashford, after a good display at the Emirates, comes in ahead of Kai Havertz, who couldn't finish his dinner at the bridge, as we look to score two to take us to the Champions League final. We know what we need to do. It's just a case of whether we can do it, as Milan looking to get on the front foot early, cut out by Wesley Fofana, who's then given it away. Couple of nerves early on here. We were brilliant at the bridge but couldn't find the win. I think if we play just as well as we did there and take our chances, then there's no reason we can't get the win today. With Chilwell down the left, over the head of Osimhen. Rashford will win that. Down to Pedri. Oh, it's a great strike. And it's off the upright. What a brilliant start to this game in Milan. On the full, catches it brilliantly. And again, we are inches away from an equaliser. Cracking start though. Milan gets so many bodies forward. It's so hard to stop them. Leao cut out by Fofana, but they get men forward and leave gaps at the back as Rashford can exploit one here. Finds Pedri. We just need to be clinical with Pedri running into the area, and Pedri levels it up on aggregate. It's 2-2 and we are back in the tie. There's no doubt in my mind that we will score more goals tonight. This is set up for an all-time classic. It's a good ball through to Acuna, who's onside, and Farias levels it up on the night and puts Milan back in the lead. I thought Acuna was offside, but no flag came. As the ball comes through, he must have been played onside. It's a brilliant run, and he put it on a plate for Farias, who was never going to miss. I'm not panicking yet. Still a long way to go. Willock round the corner, but cut out by Levi. Now we look to break. Bodies flying forward. Pedri has Rashford in support. Marcus has Osimhen in support, and Osimhen to surely level it up. It's 3-3 on aggregate. And what a crazy semi-final this is. Reminds me of Real Madrid against City a few years ago. Are we going to have late drama like we did that night? And at half-time, it's a crazy tie here between these two. We lead on the night. It's level on aggregate. And this could go either way. We're looking to just slow things down at the start of this second half, just to get a little bit of control. It's the way I like to play these big Champions League games, but so far in this tie we haven't really had the chance to do so because it's been frantic. But Milan really throwing bodies forward in this one, and if we can catch them going the other way, then we will be able to create enough chances. Chile, brilliant ball to Enzo, gets caught in the process, but Enzo does get away, finds Marcus Rashford, who's been poor. That is really cheap from Rashford. We might have to look to Kai Havertz from the bench. We know the quality and the goal threat he possesses. Dembele down the right into Dest. Ball's inside. Tonali to Leao, and it's gone in. Poor from Ramsdale. He should be keeping that out in my opinion. And Rafa Leao restores Milan's lead. It's time for Havertz. We need something different. Enzo's ball in. Osimhen, oh, what an effort. And Mike Maignan has been incredible over these two legs. Given away to Enzo. Now Pedri. Havertz, was he onside? Back to Pedri. It's 4-4. Big giveaway from Milan. And we punish them. It's 4-4 on aggregate. Composure from Pedri at first, and then Havertz to give it back to him. Much better from the German. Pedri does well. I wasn't sure if he was onside. Milan calling for a foul on Elizondo, but they're not going to get it. Just waiting for our opportunity. Pedri now to Reece. Chance to drive into the penalty area. Pulls it back, and Havertz. Oh, what a save. Osimhen. Oh, it's off the post. Oh, it should have gone in. And now Milan looking to win it late on. Chilwell does well. And that might just about do it. Do we have time to get the ball forward one last time? Pedri. Now Havertz. Could be a chance here. Enzo. Chilwell. We're into the second minute, but Chilwell with loads of space. Has to check back. Enzo. Havertz. Into Pedri. And James still playing here. Osimhen. Pedri. And Havertz. He's done it. The German has sent us to the Champions League final. In the 5th minute of stoppage time, Kai Havertz has done it off the bench. Oh, we were so composed. We just kept the ball moving until it opened up for Kai. And AC Milan will be fuming that we were allowed to play on. 3 minutes over the allotted 2. And Chelsea will be in the Champions League final, reminiscent of that Real Madrid against Manchester City final all those years ago. Drama throughout, and Chelsea into the Champions League final. Oh man, I need a minute to catch my breath. That was probably the most ridiculous game we've had in the entire 6 seasons of this save. Havertz with the 96th minute winner to take us to the final. We fought back on multiple occasions and we have made it to the final. We could even be taking on another of our former sides, Bayer Leverkusen. We'll go and find out who it will be before rounding out the Premier League season. This has been crazy. Again though, look at those stats. We absolutely dominated. Milan scored 4 goals in the tie from 5 shots and had about 30% possession in total. We absolutely dominated and deserved it, but Milan's such a difficult team to face, and what a way to reach the final. Just simmed forward to the Man City game, which comes next. And I don't know who it is that has made the final. We will find out together. It will either be another Italian side, Juventus, or our former team, the team we've just moved from, Bayer Leverkusen. But in the final, Chelsea will face... Oh, it would be them. It would be them. It's Leverkusen. That's going to be crazy. Bayer Leverkusen in our first Champions League final. Alright then guys, we have a couple of games left to close out the Premier League season. City at the Etihad, Brighton I believe at home. Yeah, it must be. We've played them at the Amex. And then Spurs, I'm not sure if it's home or away. We're going to play City and Spurs. I'll sim Brighton in the middle as I'm not really asked about it. And there's already been so much drama in this episode. It'll be an hour long if we play all of them. But yeah, we've not really got anything to play for here. So I've rotated the side, given minutes to some fringe players. We're just looking to go out there, score some goals, have some fun. And use some different players. Victor Osimhen, on another note, 1 goal off 50. So I'd imagine he'd get it in one of the last 3. But an opportunity here to get it at the Etihad. Oh, Chilwell on the overlap. And Osimhen making his way into the middle. Rashford pulling out. Marcus Rashford, it's a brilliant finish. And this is what I mean about Rashford. He's so infuriating because he can pull something magic out like that, but was really poor in the last game against Milan. Doesn't matter though, we made it to the final. Sun's out in Manchester and the Champions League. All over the top looking for Haaland. In behind Tony Rudiger, and Haaland slams it home. Rudiger not the quickest anymore. It's a brilliant ball over the top. And Erling Haaland, who is second in the Golden Boot race to, of course, Victor Osimhen, notches up before Victor. It's a brilliant strike from the Norwegian. 1-1. Rice, brilliant tackle from Declan. He's been magnificent since coming in January. Really made a difference in that midfield. Here's Osimhen. Amari through to Victor. Is this the moment? Victor Osimhen! It's 50 for the Nigerian. What a landmark. This episode has had so much. James lifting the Premier League, the crazy semi-final against Milan, and now Victor Osimhen reaching 50 league goals in the Premier League. Carney switches it out to Reece James, who takes it in his stride. It's a brilliant couple of touches from Reece. Has he got the cross to go with it? He has. Osimhen, oh, what a goal. 51 for Osimhen, made by the captain and finished by the league's top scorer. That's a cracking goal. The ball from Reece is superb, and the finish back across Ederson, side foots it into the side netting. Great goal from Osimhen. His last touch of the game as well. What a performance. And that will do it. There is full time. Despite making changes and it being a bit of a nothing game, we do still get the victory, which shows just how good my side have been this year. Another win and on to Brighton. Right guys, we're actually just going to quick sim this one against Brighton. I'm really not fussed about the result. So quick sim, and we won 3-1. Osimhen, Havertz and Enzo Fernandez in the first minute with the goals. We will close out the episode with the final game of the season against Spurs. And of course, guys, in the next episode, we will return with that huge Champions League final against our former team, Bayer Leverkusen, and a full season roundup like usual. But before that, to close out this crazy episode, it's Spurs away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Alright then, guys, here we are. It's the final day of the season, and I'm expecting us to get fully battered in this one. Our lineup is really poor. We've got a few goodbyes for players that will most likely be leaving next season, if we are here, of course. And we're just giving some fringe players the minutes, as I want to just keep all my players who will be featuring in the Champions League final fit and fresh, free from injury, so that we know that everyone will be ready for that game. So fully expecting us to get absolutely battered here by Spurs. Benzema now. Out to KWP. Loads of space for the Englishman. Has Parra in the middle. Oh, it's a brilliant header from the youngster. It's been a terrible half of football, but the shining light comes from Augustine Parra, who bags another goal. KWP down the right does really well, lifts it into the middle, and Parra gets above his man and guides it into that far corner. Fantastic header. Well, there it is, Karim Benzema coming off. Standing ovation from the Chelsea fans and probably the Spurs fans as well. Bit of a legend of the game, and that is quite possibly his final appearance in professional football. Substituted here as we still lead by 1, and there goes our lead. Mateus Cunha levels up for Spurs. A few more changes here as a couple of players depart and a couple enter, who again could be playing their final games for the club, as Spurs look to come forward to win it late on. Still playing for European football, but here we come. We got a lot of bodies forward now. And there's space out wide for Bertrand, the speedster. Bertrand to win it, bends it home, and the man who can't finish his dinner has killed Spurs' European dreams with a late winner off the bench. Jean Bertrand, not sure if he will be here next year, but that pace has been very helpful in certain games this year, and this time he bends it home past Szczesny. Well, there is the final whistle on another season in the Glory Hunter save. Another league trophy won as well. And it's an important one, the Premier League in the bag. And we've also stopped Spurs qualifying for Europe as well. You love to see it. A couple of nice goodbyes in there. And another win for Chelsea. Well, there we have it, guys. That is where we will end this episode. It's been a crazy one. I feel like it's going to be quite a long one. Might eclipse the 30-minute mark. But we will end it there. Premier League champions by 23 points in the end. Liverpool somehow ended up finishing second. Manchester United in third, and City dropping down into fifth into the Europa League, with Nottingham Forest into fourth and the Champions League for next year. Speaking of the Champions League, we will of course have the final in the next episode and a full season roundup and an in-depth look at the save. I hope you have enjoyed, guys. Make sure to check out the next episode. It's the huge one, the Champions League final. I'll catch you for it very soon. Peace.